Okay. All right, this is going to be a demonstration to finish off your charcoal self-portrait drawing. Okay, so at this point now, you should be done with pretty much most of your portrait drawing. Obviously, I could probably add some more details using the charcoal pencils. Let me grab some pencils over here. Yeah, I could probably do some more details with like the charcoal pencils. Just because I'm working a lot smaller with my drawings, and even though you guys are doing like a much bigger much bigger drawing than I did. I definitely do recommend using the pencils to finish your drawing itself. So you definitely get some really nice fine details with these pencils at the end. Especially with like some of these highlights in the hair. I could really start to just draw like the individual strands of the hair. So if you really want to go into like a lot of detail with the hair, you could possibly do that. And I definitely would use that in conjunction with like the darker charcoal. So at this point now, since we kind of established your values, you can really go into some really nice nitty-gritty fine details with the charcoal pencil as you guys are finishing like the final touches or final parts of your drawing itself. Okay, so obviously those of you that are really artistic though, you'll probably want to like add these little details to the drawing if you have time. But okay. So the purpose of this video is not really just to add the more details though, but that's something definitely you can do with it though. This part of the video though is really just kind of looking over your drawing, seeing what you need to fix, and then just work on the background. So definitely would take a look over the your original reference. Definitely pull up the Azaro head from the Canvas website. Okay, because you have to use kind of both these references to get like the lights and values of the drawing. Okay, so obviously some of my drawing is a little bit off from the original, so I definitely could add like a little bit more hair over here to get it to look a little bit more like my drawing. I'll be honest with you though, like the angle of my head is like completely off. And that's okay though, because we're not really trying to copy the original picture, but we're trying to get it close enough where we're still using the reference though, but we're doing our own drawing though of your portrait. Okay, so I'm not really looking for like complete accuracy, but definitely some things I can work on with the drawing a little bit more. Okay, but I just wanted to show you guys how to color in the background. So real simple though. Definitely go back with the Vine charcoal, and I would just do like a light gray for like the whole background. You technically could keep it white, but I think the gray would make it look a lot more nicer. It would make it look a little bit more complete. So, I just would shade the entire background gray. Okay. So this is after you've established like your darks, some of your light areas. Because, your hair's probably got some really strong highlights in this, darks here. Then there's some highlights on like the top of my head here. So I would just lightly shade the entire background. Okay, and then in some cases though, you might have to shade the bottom part of your drawing as well. So, I'm going to show you guys another example of like a finished drawing that I did where like I had to actually do a little bit more shading just because you guys have like a much larger paper to work with. So I'm going to do like a little bit of shading under here. So I really don't want any of those white spaces to show up. The only white spaces should be like the highlights of the drawings. And then if you actually smudge the background, like I did a little bit of smudging, this will get rid of like all the smudgy areas. Okay, so you're probably gonna deplete the Vine charcoal. So if the Vine charcoal gets really small though, you can always throw it away. Okay, so I'm just shading most of these areas here. Okay, so after you've shaded most of these areas, and just make sure to get the edges as well. Okay, but probably what I would do too is the newsprint paper that I gave you. You can have that actually going behind your drawing. Obviously, you probably would open it up more, but I'm working smaller. But definitely have this covered over so that way, you don't get the table too dirty. You can color over the edges as well. Yeah, so that makes it really easy to color in all those areas that you need to. You definitely want to color all gray. Okay, now here's like the fun part though. Okay, you can use the blender to blend it. My suggestion is grab the piece of newspaper you have. Okay, and just tear off like a little piece of the newspaper. So it doesn't have to be a lot, just a little piece. You can use the newspaper as like your blender. So I'm just going to just kind of hold it like this, and just smudge it with the newspaper. Okay, it'll give you a nice little gray tone around all the edges. Okay, that way it looks like your drawing is complete at that point. Okay, so you probably have to do this over your newsprint. So I recommend opening it up, that way, it's on the inside part, and then that way, you can cover it later. Okay, so you want to smudge the entire drawing. Okay, you want to get like that nice little smooth gray all the way around. Okay. So at this point now, it's like you're pretty much finished. You can even use like your fingers to smudge a little bit more. I'm actually picking up a little more of the graphite, smudging it with my finger. But you can use the blender to kind of like blend out the edges. Okay, and then you're gonna be kind of going like back and forth with like working on your edges and then shading it as well. So I'm gonna just get the dust off of it a little bit. So I'm gonna work on these edges a little bit more on my hair. And I'm trying to get more of like a kind of fuzzier, blurrier look on the edge here. Okay, and then this part I have to just shade it out a little bit more. And then I'm using like the white charcoal, so just to give my face a little bit more of like the shape again. So you definitely want to rework on the edges again. Okay, but it's just pretty much just going back and forth with it until like it's finished. Let me see. I could put more hair here. It's a little more like a shadow on that part. Shape of my head here could probably be a little bit better. I definitely added like way more hair on the side of my head. I mean, that's okay though. I could use like this white charcoal. I'm just gonna shave off a little bit of my hair, try to follow that reference. So, you can mix the white charcoal with the gray as well. Don't be afraid to get messy with it too. So, you can use your fingers as well. Okay, so like you see, like this is kind of blending in with the background a little bit. So I definitely would get with like the white charcoal, like that part white, so you get like that nice contrast on that part. Okay, but this is pretty much just finishing up your piece at this point. If I want to add details for my shirt, so I could put these stripes if I wanted to. I don't have to follow exactly, but those little details will help with like the overall drawing if you incorporate them. Alright. Okay. You kind of get the idea though. Just finishing it up at this point. Okay. So use the dark charcoal. A little bit darker. Okay. Okay, but you kind of get the idea though. So yeah, you just want to shade it gray though, and then I'd use a newspaper. Don't I probably wouldn't use it for the whole time unless if you want to, but Yeah, definitely will look a lot cleaner if you make that part like a gray. You know, you could keep it white, but I think it looks better with gray.